Alright guys, so I had a lot of interest in the story about the broken Glock that I bought. I think I paid like $200 to $250. I don't remember. Could have been $225, I don't know. But anyway, so this guy had a Glock for sale. It was a G23 40 caliber Glock. And he stated, that it was a police trade-in gun, and said there was some issues with it or whatever. He didn't want to deal with it, I guess. So he had it for, like I said, from $200 to $250. I can't remember. So I thought, awesome, this is exactly what I want. I thought, I'll take the time to send it back to Glock if I can't fix it, but I was pretty positive I was going to be able to fix this gun. It was kind of something that was fun to me to get into this. So I met the guy, and he's telling me, again, like, hey, I just want you to know there's problems with this gun, and that's why I'm selling it so cheap. And I said, I'll tell you the truth. I said, that's one of the reasons why I'm buying this gun, is because there's some kind of problems with it. I said, I'm a Glock guy. I said, this is what I do. And I said, I want to shoot this gun, diagnose it, and hope. I said, in fact, I'm hoping that when I first shoot it, I see the problems so I can start looking into it. So first thing I do when I get the G23 at home is I take it apart. I think I just did a field strip on it, but I looked down into all the parts and the frame and everything, checked everything out, and everything looked normal. I checked the extractor, the ejector, and different things like that. Looked into the history of the gun. It had been carried for approximately 13 years on duty, and the guy had his badge number etched into the 3 magazines that were with it. It was a Gen 3 with 3 magazines. This was before the Gen 4s ever came out. And he had his badge number marked into the magazines and stuff, just so if he was shooting with people, with other officers or whatever, they'd know whose magazine was whose. But this gun had to have been shot a ton, and I'm going to tell you why after a bit here. So I take this gun to the range, and I load it up as per usual. And I start shooting the gun, and after about 3 or 4 rounds, man, sure enough, I get the weirdest jam I've ever seen. The jam I get is a bullet nose down with the primer coming up out of the ejection port. And I'm like, what in the world? What time warp did I just fall into? I have never seen anything like that. An unspent round now. This is a round that hasn't fired yet. So the first 3 go okay. And it was like the 4th, maybe 4th or 5th, somewhere around there. So it's nose down, live round with the primer coming up, and I'm like, what in the world? So I put in another magazine. I had all 3 of them with me. Fire the gun. I don't remember if it went smooth or not with that, but then with that magazine, same thing. Except for this time, the bullet was nose down under the feed ramp, right at the edge of the feed ramp, and the slide wouldn't go forward. And I'm like, why does the butt end keep coming up on these rounds? I was like, what is going on here? So I get to looking over the gun, and I'm like, Basically, guys, when a gun starts malfunctioning, especially when you're talking about like 1911s and like semi-auto rifles and things like that, one of the first things you want to look at is your magazine. That's almost number one. But with a Glock, it can be a little bit different because I've never seen a magazine wore out on a Glock. So just for the heck of it, I take the 2 magazines that I used, the 40 cal magazines, and I put my finger in the follower and I go like this, and there's almost no resistance at all. It's like I'm just pushing air. I'm like, what? I'm like, no way. I'm pushing down, and I can just like stick my finger, like with no problem whatsoever. I can stick my finger all the way down in the magazine as far as I can. Like right now, this is a good magazine. I'm feeling resistance right here before my knuckle even enters. With the magazines for that G23, I'm going as deep as my finger can fit into the mag well here, and I'm having no resistance on it. And I'm like, whoa, man, that's got to be the problem right there. I'm 99 right now. I'm 99% sure this is the problem. So I go home, I order Lone Wolf. Wolf springs. Wolf 10% plus power springs. Those come in. I put those springs in those 3 magazines. I go to the range, man. I fire 300 rounds, never missed a beat. I paid like, I don't know, $18 for 3 mag springs, something like that. I can't remember the price. And that was the issue. It was the mag springs. Now, why this is so why I say I'll probably never come across this again in my life. I have never known somebody that's worn out a Glock mag spring. These mag springs will last and last. And what wears a magazine is the firing of it, not keeping it loaded. What wears a mag spring is the loading and then the firing, the spring going up and down, up and down. Well, like a car spring or any kind of a spring system, a bed, whatever, it takes, you know, tons and tons of usage up and down to wear that spring out. I have never personally in my lifetime worn a Glock spring out. I've never seen a Glock spring. Not only that, this guy had at least 2 of the 3 were worn out. And I verified that with failures to feed in the gun. So this gun was perfectly fine. So I used the Wolf 10% power springs, and I ended up selling the gun. I made at least $150 off of it. Told the person the history I was going to sell it to. I listed it, and when they asked me about it, so I sold it for like $400, which was a good deal. And I had them call me, and I told them, I said, they thought there was a problem with the gun. I put in magazine springs. That's all it was a worn magazine spring. The gun's fine. There's not an issue with it. You know, if you ever have an issue, give me a call. I'll take care of it, whatever. The guy was like, yeah, you know, no big deal. Wasn't even worried about it. Wanted the gun, and he purchased the gun for me. So I made about $150 on playing around with a gun to diagnose what was wrong with it. And I didn't want to really send it back to Glock either. So whatever, I figured I'd be able to fix it. And that's what happened with that gun. So don't know where the history of that gun is. Don't know where it is now. It's been a lot of years. Probably we're talking around 2009. So we're getting a long way down the road from when I had that gun in my possession. I don't remember, I think I was doing videos at the time, but I don't remember really talking about it on video. So that was the broken Glock that I bought, guys. It's a rare thing that I've never had happen to me before, and I probably will never see again. Was number one, a guy telling me a Glock is broke and offering it to me at a cheap price. And then number two is seeing that somebody wore out 2 Glock magazine springs. This guy must have been shooting his butt off, man. This was probably at a police. What my only theory is it was a police department that supplied their own ammunition, and this guy was just going out and just burning up that ammo as fast as he could put it in the gun. Because there are some departments that will give you ammunition and things to train with and different things. Somehow this guy must have been a supervisor and just had unlimited access to the ammo box at the department. But whatever was going on, this guy had shot thousands upon thousands of rounds through this gun, probably traded it in when it stopped to feed. They probably didn't know what was wrong with it. They probably thought the gun was broke, even though it was just a magazine spring. The gun was 100%. The slide, the internals, all the original parts, I inspected them, went over them with a fine-tooth comb before I sold the gun. The ejector, the extractor, 100%. I had no signs that those had ever been replaced, and all that stuff was perfectly good. Recoil spring was good. I did a test on the recoil spring. So all it was those magazine springs. That's all it took to get this Glock back 100% tip-top shape. So, all right, guys, there's that story time for you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be back real soon using my new vlogging cam, and this thing is awesome. All right, guys, till next time, this is DOF, and I'm out.